All right, let's talk about this. So the VAR decision in this case is an own goal. Because of the performance of these two teams, Kenya has been pitted in a derby in the knockout phase. So one team has to go, and even the one that knocks out the other, in the semis they're gonna lose anyway. So it's a lose-lose situation. Honestly, this is a lose-lose situation. I don't like this. I feel like I think this is the farthest that Kenyan teams can go. This is the farthest Equity Bank, Hawks, or the KPA Dockers women basketball team can go. I don't think there's a I don't think there's another place that they can go to at this point, because any one of these teams is just gonna get knocked out in the semis, because it's either, let's say for example, let's take the instance, let's say KPA win. That means in the semis they're going to match up against either REG, they're going to match up against Interclub, or they're going to match up against A Sporting if they're going to meet them again. We're not sure in the brackets how things are going to pan out. But given that situation, Kenya is just screwed at this point. Let me just check out the brackets so that we can be able to know. Okay, so given this situation, you have KPA and Equity. Let's say the Equity Hawks, or let's say KPA. Let's just start with KPA, because I don't think that the Equity Hawks can beat KPA. The last time I saw the Equity Hawks beat KPA was in the 2022 finals. I've not seen them beat the the KPA team. Equity has not been able to beat KPA like that. So yeah, that's that. So if KPA makes it, that means they're going to match up against REG, a much stronger REG than they saw before. And this one will be a very difficult matchup, honestly. Number one, because REG retooled and they're coming off, a 5-game winning streak, because they have beaten everyone in the preliminary phase, and now they've already beaten this UDLA team. So that means they are 5-0 at the time. With 5-0 at the time, they already know how to play the game, and they are looking for a finals appearance and a championship berth. So that means getting rid of any other team that gets in their way. So it's a lose-lose situation. KPA knocks out Equity, it's a lose. And if KPA makes it the second round, it's still a loss, because I don't see KPA beating REG. And one thing that I've even come to see, even with the making of my videos right here, is majority of my takes come to pass and they stand the test of time. I predicted, even I anticipated REG knocking out Equity in the preliminary phase. They beat them by 34 points. I predicted A Sporting beating KPA. As much as I got a lot of luck, what happened? KPA got beat by 35 points. So given this situation, the only realistic outcome is KPA winning. I don't think the Equity Hawks stand a chance against KPA. KPA have a much better team. KPA, they know how to win. A team like the Equity Hawks depend on last minute heroics that never happen. The Equity Hawks have looked very poor than KPA looked in the A Sporting game. That one game that KPA lost to A Sporting, I can even give KPA the nod, because the Equity Hawks, they looked poor against Interclub in their first game, and they looked poor against REG. So that means if the Equity Hawks match up against KPA, it's a done deal. KPA are gonna win. So KPA versus REG, I don't think REG are going to get knocked out by KPA. I don't think so. It doesn't happen. REG are much stronger. They have 2 WNBA players. They are 5-0 at the time. At this time, they're going to win there, because I don't think they are going to drop a game in the quarterfinals. Highly unlikely. It's a very weak team, and I predict a blowout. In there. So given KPA vs REG, it's going to be a rematch, and considering the fact that there's pent up beef and aggression from REG, considering the fact that KPA beat them twice, they're going to have some payback. So there's somewhat of a grudge match in there. So KPA just going to get knocked out of the way. So that means if they get knocked out in the semis, it's a lose-lose situation. KPA, let's say, knocks down Equity, then KPA gets knocked down by REG. Or even take the other case scenario. Let's say by by a sheer miracle or luck, the Equity Hawks beat KPA by luck, hypothetically. Then they match up against REG. It's just going to be the same matchup. REG have already beaten Equity, so there's no way Equity are going to make it past like the semis. So it's a lose-lose situation, and I can say KPA and Equity have just screwed themselves up. They have failed. Should have at least finished Equity should have at least tried to finish number 2, but it will be highly unlikely because that will mean they should have beaten REG and Interclub, which is something that never happened. So even the 2-2 record that they had, it told us everything that we needed to know. So I mean, there's no future for Kenyan basketball here in this bracket. But on the flip side, you could see A Sporting just have the ticket. They just have the ticket to, like, make it back to the finals, because I don't see them dropping a game against Interclub. So this finals, I predict Interclub going to make it back to the finals, and they're going to match up against REG. Or Interclub upsets A Sporting, and Interclub matches up with REG in a rematch, which, of course, we already know what will happen. If that happens, that means REG win the title. If Reg manage to be able to get to the finals and they meet an A Sporting, that will be a very tough game to call, and it will be much more exciting to cover, because we're going to see the matchup that I've been waiting for and anticipating for. So it all comes down to those 3 teams. If you're not A Sporting, it's either A Sporting, Interclub, or REG are just gonna win it all. So yeah, man, I mean, that's how it is. But this one is an own goal. This is an own goal for sure. I mean, Kenya, we're done for. I mean, I don't think there's a future here. I mean, there's no even need for even going through the statistics, because both teams, are not the most efficient. The players don't care if they're efficient. Equity, they have the weakest roster I've ever seen. We have players that don't know where they stand. Okay, we have a young team. They're trying to say it's a young team, but we have people who are in there that are veterans. We have the national team captain who has been flopping all games. She has not been able to get into the rhythm of the tournament, despite even getting to the knockout phase. On the other hand, you have in KPA, they're an average team that looks above average, and is only good at beating below average teams. So there's no easy path, and this is an on goal, honestly. Even I even tweeted, even mentioned it on a Facebook post. This is a matchup that is just set to it's just a lose-lose situation. It's a like an own goal. So even call it own goal, it's a lose-lose situation for both teams, because okay, one team makes the semis, you're just gonna get knocked out. That even if KPA are managed to go unscathed and make the finals, there is no way there's no chance they are going to beat either an Interclub or an A Sporting. Very unlikely. And if they make the finals, that means that they managed to beat REG, which is highly unlikely. REG are a much better team, much better coach team, have better players, are much more efficient when it comes to basketball games, and they can take you apart any way you like. The 3-ball, inside, they know how to defend the perimeter, something that KPA can't do. KPA can't defend perimeter shots. If they could, they would have stopped the barrage of threes that are being hit on them. Because I've never seen a game where A Sporting got so many good looks. They got so many good looks from teams that don't play defense on them, especially in the perimeter, and they just cashed in on them. KPA don't have a 3-point shooter to be able to carry them deeper into the game, especially in those late game situations. They depend on driving the ball inside, and it's highly unlikely a defensive team it's highly unlikely for a defensive team that doesn't practice much more on offense to be able to win. I know defense wins you championships, but at some point you have to score the basketball. If you defend and don't score, you're going to get scored on, and you're not going to be able to do anything. It's called parking the bus. KPA do a lot of parking the bus a lot. They believe they just have to, stop the other player from scoring. And if they don't score themselves, they're gonna lose the game. There has to be a balance. There's no break-even point. You can defend and not score. It's a lose situation. You have to defend and score, and that's what a majority of the teams like RAG do. So yeah, I mean, this is actually a very easy matchup. KPA have just been whitewashing the Equity Hawks for years now. I can quite frankly, I can say that they've been busting the ass of the Equity Hawks every single year, and it's just this matchup is not going to be different. And it's going to be no different from it. So these are two classification teams that are competing, and I don't think either of them can even make that podium finish that they were dreaming of. I know in the first press conference they were dreaming of a podium finish, which I don't think that is gonna happen given under these circumstances. I don't think it will ever happen. And yeah, that's just my opinion. So if you guys have something you have to say in the comment section, please do type it out. If you're watching this on Instagram, please be sure follow me on Instagram there. Click that follow button. It'll give you good luck. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscriber button, hit the bell, and also smash that like button, and also leave your feedback on the comment section below. So yeah, man, I'm out. Peace.